All right, welcome to Tuesday Show. My name is Ultra David.
And I am James Chen. How's everybody going? So, one thing I want to add is that, with Mike Ross and Gutex, they have their own show. We decided to do our own version called Excellent Adventures.
So, say you're my brother. You go across the Pacific Ocean to Thailand. For the very first time. Someplace I've never been. You think to yourself, what is it that I should get my two brothers to commemorate this occasion that my fiancé and I spent time in Thailand, traveling around the country? What gifts would they enjoy from Thailand? What about matching egg shirts? Why not? Why not matching egg shirts? So I thought, you know what? Fine. I'll wear the egg shirt.
I feel like that's something Z could wear.
Yeah, I could see that actually.
I think that's something that Z could wear, yeah.
So I have matching egg shirts, and my brother and I hung out last weekend. Family was in town for Passover, yada yada.
Right.
We went out to do stuff, to like shopping, Yeah, we wore the egg shirts, the matching egg shirts. And he brought a secondary shirt in case he chickened out and like couldn't handle everybody looking at us being like, why are these two guys wearing the same egg shirts?
But
That's
if he
pretty weird.
chickened out, that he should be wearing the egg shirt, right?
Nice. Anyway, that's the story. So, we're going to talk about these things. Teabagging, Northern California Regionals 2017. Injustice 2 stuff. Pretty cool character exposés and whatnot. And other assorted events and games. As you can see, the Steves are not here.
Yeah.
They're on their way over to Atlanta for...
no, it's not.
Is that not true?
They were there, and then Tasty Steve teleported over here for the ESL broadcast, and then he teleported back.
Well, I was trying to imply that he was here earlier today. Anyway, okay. We'll go with that then. So, let's talk about teabagging. It comes up, as we'll get to maybe, in NCR results. It happened a lot this past weekend in Street Fighter. It's been happening. A lot of different people have been doing it, and now it's like a virus. I feel that more people are succumbing.
To get the right idea, so Knuckle Dew started teabagging at some point towards the end of last year, and it became a Knuckle Dew thing. And then Punk sort of adopted it now. So Punk has been teabagging a lot. In fact, in the team tournament at NCR, he teabagged Fudo like 5 times in the team tournament because he stunned him like 5 times, and he would drop combos to teabag him and everything. And then eventually he lost to XYZZY, who counter teabagged him. Yeah. Which then prompted Fudo to do manual, actual human teabags.
Yes.
Which then led to GamerBee during his intro to do teabags, which led to Punk to also teabag a bunch of times during top 8.
Yeah, he teabagged a crazy amount of times versus LPN.
Yeah, And in fact, there was one point where they were a screen away, and he was teabagging for about a total of like 15 to 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Then he EX command dash and got the throw.
Yes, he did. That was an embarrassing moment for all of us, I
felt. Yes.
So, what are your thoughts on this whole explosion of teabaggery?
So, I quote, God, I'm so mad right now that I can't remember his name right now. The villain from Incredibles.
I don't remember either. Bad Guy Jones.
I know it begins with an S, right? But he was talking about the whole thing that he's trying to turn everybody into superheroes because when everybody's super, nobody is, right?
Okay.
And that's kind of how I feel about teabagging. You know, teabagging is effective when used sparingly. If you teabag... Syndrome! Thank you. Right. When you teabag too much, it loses its effect. And it becomes... meh. It's just not exciting anymore. Now, the interesting thing about this, I'll get into this a little bit later, is I did talk to Punk about it a little bit after the tournament was over. I was getting some... I didn't ask him directly, he was just talking about it. But what are your thoughts on the whole entire thing? So,
well, I'm fine with teabagging. It's not that I'm opposed to in-game taunts or anything like that. In fact, people, if they want to use actual taunts, I'm fine with that too. I would not want to ban it or anything like that. But I do definitely think that it's getting played out. It's too much. It's too much. It's not. it's not as funny, it's not as interesting to the extent that it ever had any actual value in games. I feel like it's getting bled dry. So I think that's more of my objection to it, is just that I'm just like, it's enough.
Right. Now, so here's the wrinkle on the whole thing. Punk was talking to somebody about this, and I came up and started talking to him, and what he had said was, one of the reasons why he does it is because he doesn't feel like the game offers enough avenue for him to express himself.
Interesting.
And I've thought about it, and so I think it was me and Crackling were doing commentary during the team tournament, and we joked if Daigo when he stunned someone, we're like, oh, he should teabag him. Like, if Daigo teabagged somebody, this would be the funniest damn thing ever, right? Yeah. And I thought about it, and what Punk said about having no avenue to express yourself, I started thinking about it, and I was like, Daigo has teabagged someone before in the past, except in Street Fighter 4 and previous games, you had the avenue to express yourself. Daigo's version of teabagging was doing that stupid 20-some hit combo on Momochi because it was a waste of meter. It was completely pointless. He was totally winning the round, and he should have just stopped the combo partway through because he should have saved meter. But instead, he did this big old long combo because he got the style on him, and he got to show off in that way. And so he was able to kind of... There's a little bit of tauntiness to that when you get to body someone that way. We've seen it from GamerB. GamerB has expressed this many times, that he doesn't feel like he can express himself, but sometimes he'll do like that jump attack and the strong and the medium kick and the jab and the uppercut with Adon and stuff like that. Yeah. Crazy combos in the corners. So Punk's point is that players don't have the ability to style on it. That was the original teabag, which is you styled on them.
Interesting.
There's no styling in Street Fighter V. There's just zero styling in this game.
Yeah, I guess.
And I get that. Like, Knuckles even said he teabagged because he doesn't know how to taunt in the game. He's never learned how to do that.
What is it? It's all the buttons, right?
Yeah, it's just all 6 buttons, which is kind of a silly way to do that. Totally. So,
yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't really have a good reputation for that.
I think that that's a problem. I definitely think that there's not. I don't think that there was any reason to, like, there's just no way for people to do cool things. You know what I mean? And even the interview with Bonchan just recently came out. Bonchan was just like, you can't individualize yourself in this game.
That was an interview with Born Free.
Yeah.
Very good job over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I guess that's a good point. Mm-hmm. I guess that's a good point. I guess I'm not sure that it's entirely without that kind of stuff. For example, if I'm feeling like somebody's an idiot, and I'm Eve, I'll do something like roundhouse into V-trigger spin into, instead of actually getting the hits, just like going for the reset command.
Yeah.
It's like not a good idea,
right?
But you're an idiot. You're gonna get, you know what I mean? So I feel like there probably are mix-ups like that for more characters, but certainly there are fewer. There's less style in terms of combos.
Right.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So if that's the reason, then I get it. I think that's
But I mean, there is also that aspect that I think that Punk just wants to be a jerk, right? I mean, there's definitely
I think
that
so too.
aspect.
Sure. Yeah. No. I mean, even if he were being a jerk via some combo, the point of it is to be a jerk,
right?
I mean, that's the point
exactly.
Why don't as far as taunts go, taunts have some. You're committing. There's commitment in a taunt. It lasts some number of frames.
Right.
I don't know that I've ever seen almost any of the taunts in this game in Street Fighter V, so I don't even know how long they last. But you're committing to some time when you're doing that.
Right.
So maybe that's a better way to style, because you're saying, like, I don't care that you get it on me now.
I think it was Yipes who put out a tweet recently that he was just like, 1, teabagging has to go, and 2, the word thuggery has to go, because he was just like, this just doesn't really have any. We're wearing it out. It's not even funny anymore. Makes sense. Some people were even arguing that teabagging while the opponent is stunned is like the least committal thing. It's kind of like taunting from behind the computer screen because your opponent literally can't do anything. You know what I mean? Now, when Punk does it, he drops combos and then teabags. So there is something to that. And to be honest with you, it's affecting the gameplay. Like, him teabagging for 15 to 20 seconds is what got him into the command throw to throw LPN. Right?
Right, that's true. Yeah,
right?
okay.
He might have been sitting there thinking to himself, okay, he might try to dash in, but instead he was teabagging that whole entire time. So there is a reason to do it, and I don't think it's wrong. Like, I don't think it should be banned.
Of course not.
Right?
Of course not.
I just think it's getting played out. That's just all it is.
I agree with that.
So
I'm thinking back to other games that didn't have that long combo way to style on people, like in Street Fighter 4, like you were talking about. In Third Strike, I feel like there's almost no long combos in that game outside of like 2 or 3 characters. It's almost all like 2 or 3 hits. So, but I still feel like I can be a big jerk.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a lot of style combos in Third Strike.
There certainly were. There certainly were. If you got a stun in the corner, I mean, there are certainly
like
weird situations.
Post so
absolutely
flip on Q, right?
Yun is a great character for that,
right.
But for the most part, almost all the characters outside of weird corner situations, 2 3-hit combos are basically how it goes. 1 maybe 2 hits, then you can turn them into whatever. So I don't think that game lacked for jerkery at all. I felt like that game was like such a jerk's game.
That's the parry, though, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that's a big part of it, but I don't know that that's all of it. I think there was just a style of play where you could be extremely aggressive in ways that weren't good ideas, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of hard to put into words, but as a Third Strike player, I can recognize somebody who thinks the other person is a terrible player, even if they're not parrying, even if they're not doing long combos. It's like I see that style of play. So I wonder if that will develop at some point in Street Fighter V, but I mean, certainly point taken that it doesn't have the combos route to show that somebody's an idiot.
I mean, for everyone that I've talked to who is a big fan of Third Strike and is a fan of the jerkery factor of that game, do it because they always say, I like that because I can always call out their obvious attacks and parry them.
Parry's a huge part, for sure.
Parry is kind of what makes them add to that jerkery, kind of thing.
It definitely does. Definitely does. I don't know. I feel like I can be a jerk in many games. And I feel like I can be a jerk in ST, and like you would see it, you would like recognize it. But I don't know that I've seen that in Street Fighter V because I feel like, in part, maybe it doesn't exist. You have to be honest with yourself. Maybe it doesn't exist. The other alternative is maybe we haven't developed enough yet to recognize it, to deviate from the norms in some way.
Right.
Like we haven't established the norms well enough to then deviate from the norms in ways that show the other person, I think you're stupid. I don't know. But yeah, doesn't have the combos. So if you're looking for some route immediately, then I guess there you go.
Yeah,
makes sense to me.
In terms of teabag, someone asked in the chat, like, how do we feel about, like, people who, oh man, Bronson's in the chat. What's going on, Bronson? But
it's weird.
But what some people were saying was, someone's asking, how do you think that it appears to outside people coming in? Like, let's say they've never watched a fighting game, and they're like, oh, let me check this out. I just watched E-League. This looks interesting, and here comes this NCR thing. And then you go and watch it, and people are teabagging all over the place, right? I mean, I saw one of the esports managers in Japan, like, she had a tweet that she was like, I literally had to go and explain to my boss what teabagging is. Thanks, FGC, LOL, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is kind of the situation,
That's
right?
true.
So...
I don't know. I guess that doesn't exist in Japan, maybe, but certainly it exists in North America and Europe because it's not like fighting games came up with teabagging in the first place. It's something that we borrowed from other scenes. So if somebody is familiar with video games, I feel like they're probably familiar with teabagging. I don't think that's something that's brand new for most people. Yeah, I don't know. If you're brand new, then I don't know. You're brand new to the whole thing. So it's.
But do you think it makes it look bad?
Well, I guess I'm not sure.
Because I know there's probably like a lot of the Asian players probably do consider it kind of disrespectful.
Probably,
right? Yeah,
probably.
Because I mean, they took away post-death hits
yeah.
in Street Fighter 4 because they considered that disrespectful, right?
That was so upsetting.
Yeah,
that was so upsetting. That was a good way to show the opponent that they're an idiot. That's what I do in third. That's one of the ways that I do it in third strike. I hit them with the dumbest things post KO, like cube, big ol' stand strong, swipe. Terrible buttons. But the only reason that people understand that they get that I'm telling them that they're idiots, is that is outside of the norm of what you do.
Mm-hmm. They have to know the game.
They have to know it already.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Again, I feel like that will probably develop in Street Fighter V, but. It might not, and in any case, it probably hasn't yet.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay.
I don't know.
Do you think that there's any long-term ramifications? Because I remember at KI Cup, they wanted to ban teabagging for a second.
They did, but whatever. And then after all, people did teabag, and it was no big deal. People thought it was funny. I really don't think that it's that big of a deal. Certainly, in real life, trash talking is more effective if you want to be a jerk. Mm-hmm. It's definitely more confrontational.
Like a Bronson trend,
like what Bronson did at NCR.
Bronson is a jerk, dude.
Yes, right. If people didn't see during Tekken at NCR, he was mic'd up. I don't even know the story behind that, but he was mic'd up to the stream, and so the stream could hear him being a jerk when he was playing. It was hilarious. That is definitely more effective, but typically people on stream can't see it that well or can't hear it that well. Sometimes you can, but sometimes not. Usually not, I should say.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Again, I feel like it's probably not that big of a deal, but I think it's a good point that Punk made, that he's looking for some way to style, and he's like, this is all he has right now.
Yeah,
so.
he said he really wants to try to find a way to show off individuality, and he said that's basically the only way that he can think of right now, I guess.
Okay.
So, okay.
Makes sense to me.
All right, well, we've kind of just, do you want to just jump into NCR, or do you want to...
Sure. Anything else you want to...
Take a break first before we go into NCR?
Yeah, let's just do the thing.
All right, hang on.
Yeah, keto sounds really tough.
What's that?
Keto, that diet? I don't remember what it stands for.
What is the keto diet here?